Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have some big Bitcoin news. You saw it cross $70,000. Holy smokes. Of course, there was a little bit of a pullback. I don't know what it's doing right now. We have XRP articles today, Solana articles, Cardano. So let's jump into it right here. We got a lot of news to cover today. So we're going to start right here. There's something going on. They're all talking about CBDCs all of a sudden once again, and not just any type of CBDCs. We just covered it in that video yesterday. I believe it was the video yesterday about a wholesale CBDC project going off somewhere. What was it, in Hong Kong? And now they're talking about wholesale CBDCs. Keep that in mind. Wholesale. This is what XRP specializes in. And that's not the only connection. These areas, these regions where they're talking about wholesale CBDC activity are regions that Ripple has deep ties with. Hong Kong, Ripple has their CBDC platform with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. And then we all know in the Philippines, number one, Ripple has multiple corridors they've built over there. Multiple infrastructures they've set up over there. Outright, just outright. So Ripple has that. But then never forget SBI. SBI also set up corridors in the Philippines with Ripple-based systems, with XRP-based systems. It's just a matter of time if they're going to continue on with that before everything's up and running, right? But this article here is titled, Philippine Central Banker Reveals Details About WCBDC Pilot Project. And once again, I have to ask, why are they all coming out with this information right now? It says Project Aguila will first look at transfers between commercial banks and later try security settlements and other high-value services. Do you notice also that there's sort of a rush in the banking industry right now towards not retail, not just blockchain infrastructures, but specifically wholesale? You notice that? And, I think the article coming up is going to lend a little bit of an idea to what's going on. And it's not just in the US that there's a panic in the banking industry, in my humble opinion. You could disagree with that, but it's globally, because globally, none of these financial systems are doing well. You can look that up for yourself. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says, an official from the Banco Central NG Filipinas, BSP, has revealed more details about the central bank's plans for, what does it say? Why does it say for to study? I'm just going to click out, delete for, because that's probably a typo. But it says to study wholesale central bank digital currency, according to a local press report. I think the writer was tired. Some of this stuff is not written correctly. BSP Deputy Governor for Payments and Currency Manager Sector, Mamerto Tangonin, told a press conference on March the 6th that the WCBDC pilot project called Project Aguila. So now you have something, you can look up the project. We can keep tabs on it, all right, and follow its progress and see what it's really about. I'm sure there might be something there to uncover. Somebody may uncover something. It says would be completed by the end of this year. Tangonin called the pilot project a, quote, learning exercise, unquote, Tangonin said. Here's the quote. It says, we envision a Philippines where access to securities, similar investment instruments can be democratized, meaning they could be purchased for smaller issue sizes and much, much lower fees so that any Juan or Maria can not only dream, but actually own securities, unquote. So now, once again, I want to iterate that it's not so much the CBDC is running directly on an XRP based system. That would be great. And yes, that is definitely possible. But I'm looking at that connector aspect of if we could connect every single bank, well, not every single, let's say the majority or a lot. We'll make it even smaller. If we can connect a lot of those banks together, providing liquidity and have them riding the rails of XRP back and forth, possibly using payment channels, that could be huge. But I mean, time will show whether that happens or not. There's no guarantees in anything. I'm just playing with thoughts here. But that's, I think, one of the biggest visions of Ripple is to be that connector piece, right? How do they say it? Bridge currency. And all of these different banks are going to need it. It says 6 domestic banks, BDO Unibank, China Banking Corp, Land Bank of the Philippines, Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, Union Bank of the Philippines, and Maya Philippines are taking part in the pilot along with BSP. The project is using the WCBDC to transfer funds among banks. And once again, there's a reason. Obviously, Ripple has corridors there. And then it's like a double up because Ripple has corridors there and SBI, the huge company that SBI is, chose to use Ripple/XRP based systems and set that up in the Philippines. There's a reason for it. So then the question becomes, which banks does SBI want to utilize those systems? I don't know. I don't have the answer, but it's definitely something we could look into for sure. Right. And, we'll see in time. But that's huge. That's huge. This stuff is heating up greatly right now. So now let's move on here. Because one of the things bringing down a lot of these banking systems, it's putting a lot of pressure on their necks, is the commercial real estate. And there's commercial real estate problems globally. The U.S. has it. I was reading about the commercial real estate problems. Some of them, I believe it was in Europe. We definitely know China has commercial real estate problems. So they all have this same problem weighing down on them, the same guillotine or sword of Damocles hanging over their heads. So I believe, and that's just one thing that's very injurious or going to be very injurious to the banks in the future. And I think they're preparing. Why not prepare? They need a life preserver. And these systems, whether people like it or not, these utility coins, these systems are the biggest life preserver that they could ever have. Look at how fast their prices can go up. That equals liquidity. Now, a retail individual is going to look at liquidity much different than a business or a bank. But a bank is looking at it like a life preserver, a life raft, a boat to escape, just in case, because they know it doesn't take much to create liquidity in crypto. It doesn't. Meme coins will teach you that, if nothing else. All right. So I just wanted to point that out with this article, that I believe that that's one of the reasons why a lot of these different places are starting to prepare themselves. And then the title of it even tells you a lot. It's titled "Commercial Real Estate Tycoon Says the Industry is Entering Its Final Stage of Grief. Acceptance." So didn't I tell you this last year? Beginning of last year, when we first started covering commercial real estate problems, or was it a year and a half ago? I don't remember how long. We've been covering this for so long. You could just go check the videos. But I said, I don't believe they will be able to figure this out. They threw a Hail Mary when they were trying to turn commercial real estate into apartments. And what did I say? Because of affordability of living, wage growth has slowed to a crawl. The people can barely afford to live. They're complaining on social media and in articles about not even being able to buy food. How are they going to afford to purchase these expensive apartments? It's not going to happen. So their idea of turning commercial real estate into living quarters failed. So now they're just accepting that there's nothing that they can do about the current situation except ride it out. But here's the problem with that. To ride it out means that it's going to be a heavy burden on the banks. There's going to be massive losses. And what's to come is a very, very grim time for them. Great time for the new financial system, because if commercial real estate takes down those banks, and this is why this is important, if commercial real estate, obviously, together with unrealized losses and deposit flight and every other ailment of the banking system, takes down those banks, it puts the new financial system in a much better position, especially when we're so close to the ending of that Ripple case, whenever that's going to be. We know the beginning of the end begins very soon. Was it in April? So it's very, very close to drawing to some sort of conclusion. And if we have that type of clarity, whether it's XRP, and I think all the bank coins together will make a run at that time. I could be completely wrong, but if not XRP, because XRP already has clarity, period. We heard it from lawyers. People heard it from the judge or read it from the judge's paperwork. So I'm taking it as what they've said. But Ripple has to overcome. If Ripple as a company can overcome that institutional hurdle, that's what I wanted to get to, then the rest of them have such a similar use case. I think all the bank coins will be in the clear. But of course, I'm not a lawyer and this is not financial advice, right? Okay. All right. So now let's move on here, because we have some big Bitcoin news. It's getting a little bit closer to my numbers. I was saying 80,000 to 85. Could it go higher? You think Bitcoin can go much higher than 80,000, 85,000? It's getting close, folks. So it says this here. Bitcoin tops $70,000 briefly, reaching record high. Bitcoin on Friday rose briefly above $70,000, reaching a new record high before pulling back. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization was last trading at $66,796 beautiful dollars, down 1% over the past 24 hours, according to CoinDesk data. It earlier reached as high as $70,136 on Friday before falling. Bitcoin's recent rally has mostly been driven by increased institutional inflows into Bitcoin exchange traded funds and optimism around crypto's upcoming halving, which is expected to happen in April. So Bitcoin is looking beautiful, continues to fire up. So far, I think everything's going according to plan, and I'm feeling really good about it. I hope you are as well. So now let's move on here. All right, Bitcoin is doing its thing, doing what it's supposed to do. Now we have a little bit of Cardano news. So this article is titled "Cardano active addresses spike to 76,000." But why? I'm supposing they're going to tell us in this article here, but wow. It says Cardano is witnessing an influx of market participants. Is it an influx of market participants, or are the people from last bull run coming back? Listen, what did I told you? Look at those charts. Cardano in that last bull run, 2021, was a money maker. And people never forget when they make money. They wait. They may become wiser. So they're being more patient, more meticulous in how they're going about inching their way back into these cryptos that they know are money makers. I think Quant is that way as well. Cardano was that way. Solana was that way. But Cardano's definitely in there. So is it new people, or is it just people coming back because they know at any moment Cardano could take off and it's a moneymaker? So anyway, it's just my humble opinion. Just my humble opinion. It says Cardano has continued to attract attention from investors, further putting the quote ghost chain claims to bed. The asset recently saw a surge in daily active addresses, a trend which indicates a growing rate of network activity. Notably, data from Santiment shows that the number of daily active addresses increased to a new yearly high of 76,445 on March the 6th. I wonder what the all-time high for addresses is. That's a yearly high. What's the all-time high? Anyway, it says, is that included in this? I'm a little bit tired today, folks. So I'm going to ask a whole lot of questions. I've been working a lot and getting very little rest, but don't worry, that's going to change soon because, but hey, we got to work while we can, build while we can, strike while the iron is hot, right? So anyway, help me out from time to time, It says, while the asset looked to recover from the massive price drop observed the previous day. Recall that ADA collapsed 10% on March the 5th as Bitcoin's retracement sent the entire market into the red zone. The token dropped to a low of 57 cents before staging a comeback that saw it close March 5th above 69 cents. The recent surge in active addresses came up as ADA sought to reclaim the lost values on March the 6th. The cryptocurrency eventually reclaimed the 70-cent mark price territory that day, closing at an impressive price of 73 cents. The latest 76 cent high in 76 cents. My apologies, folks. The latest 76,455 high in daily active addresses represents a 55% increase from the low of 49,171 recorded on March the 3rd. All right. So we got through that one. Hey, listen, I know some people are like, hey, Mick, just take a break or something like that. Listen, I love doing this. It keeps my mind active. I just thoroughly enjoy it. I like to know stuff. I like to report it. I have a great time doing it. I don't know, so no big deal to me. Just sometimes if I come on a little bit tired, and things can get a little bit dicey. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Remember people used to say that all the time in the old school? You know what I mean? Know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you be like, no. And if you're shaking your head, yes, but really in your mind, you're like, no, I don't know what you mean. And the person always says something vague, and then says, know what I mean? Like, no, just because you said, know what I mean, or you know what I mean, doesn't mean that brings clarity, right? They'll say something. I went over there, I talked to Bobby, and then I went up there and what he was like, but then we went back. Okay. No, wait, you're not even finishing your sentences. Remember people used to do that? That was a thing at the time. And then they'll say, know what I mean? No, I don't know what you mean. Complete a sentence. That was just people. Somebody out there's like, Alphany, that was just people you encountered. You're probably right. You're probably right. All right, folks. So I hope you're having a fantastic day out there, man. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm grateful every single day that I get to live and I get to communicate with you all, that I get to build in the world. I'm thankful for every last breath I get to take. Just know that. All right. So I live like that. All right, folks. So now, we have this article. This article is titled Ripple CTO Wades into Satoshi Identity Debate. All right, David Schwartz. I got my eye on you, Satoshi. I mean David Schwartz. I mean it. David Schwartz. That was a slip of the mind. I didn't mean to call him Satoshi. Wink, wink, wink. Anyway, the ongoing debate surrounding the true identity of Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin, has been reignited once again, this time with Ripple's chief technology officer chiming in. Says David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, has firmly stated his opinion that Craig Wright, an Australian computer scientist who has long claimed to be Satoshi, is not the elusive figure behind the creation of Bitcoin. And they actually cropped this tweet here. It says, the more plausible alternative, this is from David Schwartz, quote, the more plausible alternative is that Craig is not Satoshi. The proof is that Craig wants people to believe he's Satoshi. He has been unable to prove it and would easily be able to prove it if it were true. Yeah, I don't think this individual, just given the evidence that came out in court and certain things he can't do that Satoshi could do, there's a lot there that says he's not Satoshi. Why do we believe Satoshi was one person? Did that ever cross anybody else's mind? I wouldn't know. I don't know. I haven't read a lot on Satoshi until this court case start popping off and we start covering these articles. But what's the likelihood Satoshi was a group? Right? I mean, it's possible. It wasn't one person. Anyway, the assertion by Schwartz comes amid a backdrop of skepticism and controversy surrounding Wright's claims. Despite his persistent assertions and legal battles, many within the crypto community remain unconvinced that the self-proclaimed Satoshi is the actual one. In a recent tweet, Schwartz expressed his skepticism. Well, we read that part already. Schwartz was reacting to an ex-user who claimed that no one who believed that Craig Wright was not Satoshi had come up with a more plausible alternative that could be proven. All right, so there you go. People continue to wonder who Satoshi is. And I saw an article the other day about if Satoshi was coming back. I don't know where they got that from, but that's interesting. I don't know why Satoshi would do that. But this is going to be a mystery that people want to unravel for a long time. But I'm going to lean towards Satoshi is not one person. It's a few people probably, right? I could be completely wrong. Maybe there's some evidence I don't know about. I'm not a know-it-all, but I consider that possibility. So now let's move on here. Little bit of Solana news, right? Solana is it still doing really good right now? I know the other day it was looking real good. Wasn't it above $140? I believe it was. Listen, I don't look at the charts all the time. Once I hold something and I know it's going to do well, Just let that sit on the cold wallet and let it do what it does. And I just check every once in a while. This article is titled, Cloud-Based App Taps into Solana to Bring Life to Old Devices. A new virtual smartphone application has launched on Solana's blockchain and Aether's decentralized cloud infrastructure, aimed at users with outdated hardware and those in emerging economies. It says mobile device users in emerging economies and those hampered by outdated hardware could tap into a new virtual smartphone application running on Solana's blockchain and decentralized cloud infrastructure. iPhone, is that what it's called? iPhone? iPhone debuted in the Solana ecosystem on March the 7th as a web-based virtual smartphone. Oh, that's interesting. A web-based virtual smartphone. Why would you? I don't understand that. Like, why would you use that? So maybe you don't have a regular smartphone, but you have a computer? I don't know how that works because most don't. Do computers still cost more than smartphones, right? Well, you get a basic smartphone, Samsung, for like $100, but your basic computer is like $300, maybe something like that. Maybe it's more now. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But anyway, that's interesting. It says a web-based virtual smartphone, okay, that gives users access to various Web3 and conventional applications. iPhone ecosystem development and growth lead Jennifer Booz unpacked details of the service in correspondence with Cointelegraph following its launch. They have a little picture here, and it does look like a smartphone desktop, but that is just so strange to me. It's just strange. iPhone looks and feels like an Android smartphone. It does. It does look like an Android smartphone. And is platform agnostic, meaning it can operate on a browser. That's what I'm saying. That's like strange. So I don't know, folks. Let me just read it. Let me not try to figure out things right now. Android and Apple device. Booz says it functions more like an operating system with its interface, features, and underlying technology rather than replacing a device's operating system. Quote, it's a cloud smartphone environment that users can access through their current devices, leveraging decentralized cloud computing to run Web3 applications smoothly without needing local hardware upgrades, unquote, Booz explains. All right, so listen, Solana has a lot of great things going on for it. It continues on. This is why a lot of people love Solana. I told you, in these businesses, and the ones, not just the big ones, we've heard a lot from bigger businesses that say they love Solana, and Solana they're bullish on it. But these developers and these up and coming businesses as well love Solana. So it's good to see things continuing in a positive way. But I'm going to give more thought to this. I might check this out just to see. I just want to see what it's all about. I like toying with new stuff. That's why I'm into AI. You know, I love the new technologies to see what they're about, to use them myself, to play around with them myself. So I might check this out a little bit. I don't know. We shall see. So now let's close out here with this. You know what else before we get into this next article? So like a lot of times when I don't put in, there's a certain amount of hard work I like to put in per day, keep my mind busy. I feel good. If I don't work hard that day, if I don't make a video that day, I start to feel like bad. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, I feel like unaccomplished. I need to build something. I need to put in work. You know, do you feel, anybody, you ever feel like that? So anyway, just a little random tidbit about me. You know, you can't say you don't know me. Over these, I put a lot of myself into these videos, you know. This article here is titled and I laugh a lot when I'm tired. I laugh a lot. I like to joke around. I'm like the opposite. A lot of people get grouchy when they're tired. I don't. I start laughing a lot, joking around a lot, stuff like this, how I get. So anyway, this article is titled Senate Stablecoin Bill in the Works from Senators Loomis and Gillibrand. All right. You know, listen, I really don't get excited when any of these bills are formed because they've gone nowhere, and it's just very, very disappointing. I wish that they would go somewhere if they're positive for crypto. Let me make that clear. I don't know what they're going to say here, but it says U.S. Senators Cynthia Lummis and Kirsten Gillibrand are actively considering the language for a bill that would cover stablecoins, Axios has learned. Stablecoins, we know what stablecoins are, so we're going to skip that, why it matters and what stablecoins are. It says law that would govern stablecoins has been considered the most likely piece of legislation to pass the U.S. Congress for some time. Senators Lummis and Gillibrand have been working for several months on a bill that provides regulatory clarity around stablecoins, while protecting consumers from bad actors. Quote, spokespeople for both senators' offices said in a statement to Axios. It says, quote, they have been encouraged by the feedback that they have received from several stakeholders and are hopeful to have an announcement soon, unquote. All right. So, we'll see what happens if they can put something together or not. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to go take a nap. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.